to the continuation of health and ICT. We have been discussing about the concept of health communication and the different perspective and strategies of health communication. So, next we have to identify the skill acquisition, that is how the health information is accessed by an individual, the skill of the individuals through the different theories and models, that is the health belief model, Anderson's ACT theory, trans-theatrical model, and the barriers to health information literacy, problems and issues faced in India, and the conclusion. Introducing what is the skill acquisition, that is how the health information is acquired, and what is the skill of an individual and how it is influenced the behavioral patterns of individual. So, we all know that we are having different informations or variety of information. So, finding health information, evaluating it and applying and understanding this, it is an essential skill that needed to an individual. So, skill acquisition is an essential quality for an individual in acquiring health information. So, skill acquisition refers to how individuals gathers and use health information for their health. So, these skills are depending upon individuals' behavior, which contributes to the development of health theories and models. So, these are the framework for the health information gathering, that is how an individual's health behavior is formed, that we have already explained while explaining the health, that is it is starting from an individual from birth to the life. So, the process of understanding and acquiring health information. The first model we have been explained, that is health belief model. This model, that is explain the relationship between the beliefs and behavior of an individual. This model has evolved as a concern in public health, that is it is rooted in America in 1950s. So, this individual failure in understanding health information and severity of disease and illness. So, a health belief model explains the impact of an individual's perception and attitude towards diseases, how these perceptions and attitudes impact their health related decision making. So, when we are gathering health information through different medias, print, radio, television, newspaper, etc., an individual behavior is attained, and these skills are framed to form the different models for decision makings. Health belief model. So, that we have already explained that it has been explained as a belief model. So, different perspective or different principles have been attained as the individual beliefs, as perceived susceptibility, perceived severity, perceived benefits of permanent prevention action, perceived barriers to preventive action, and perceived self-efficacy. So, the first construct, that is perceived susceptibility to the disease. So, the perceived susceptibility to the disease, that is the seriousness and the perceived threat an individual faces, that is how the health communication and information is effective and determining acting as a barrier to the health informations. So, perceived severity refers to the knowledge or the skill of an individual in that particular diseases, and the perceived benefits of action means it is the level of health information literacy of an individual's, and the cues of action, that is the what action an individual take or what is the decision by an individual, whereas the self-efficacy refers to the transformation of an efficiency or the individual, that is individual with the perceived as accessibility may deny that they are at a risk of the contracting a particular themes. So, these factors, that is perceived susceptibility, perceived severity, benefits and perceived barriers to preventive action and perceived self-efficacy, this depends upon the different modifying factors, that is age, gender, geographical locations, education, ethnicity, health knowledge, immigration status, income, race, wealth. All these factors will however influence the variables, that is these forms the beliefs of an individual, or these are forming the tracing an individuals to take an actions, that is cue to action. This cue to action is the outcome of the individual behavior. So, in simply saying that health belief model is trying to explain how the individual's behavior is formed through the different modifying factors and how an individual will take an action in belief. Next theory, that is ACT theory or adaptive concept of thought, that is a cognitive theory. It is developed by John Anderson. He is an American psychologist. So, he was trying to explain the theory through the cognitive process. Cognition, it is the process of understanding or acquiring knowledge and information through thought, experience and other sense. So, we all are familiar with the cognitive dissonance theory. So, cognition is the process how we are understanding and how we are acquiring knowledge and information. So, this framework or model is trying to explain the process of an understanding level of acquiring knowledge and information, that is how an individual acquire knowledge and information all depends upon the understanding level of the individual. So, ACT theory or adaptive concept of thought is a cognitive theory developed by John Anderson, an American psychologist. So, ACT theory, Anderson was trying to explain the concept through the cognition process, that is understanding or acquiring knowledge and information through thought, experience and the senses. So, it is a framework or model trying to explain the process of understanding and is explaining that the health information or the health knowledge of the individual completely depends upon the understanding level of the individual. So, through ACT theory, Anderson has been trying to explain the three concepts, that is modules, buffers and pattern matching. So, buffers refers to the modular and the visual modules that has been happening in an individual, that is different sectors or factors are responsible for this as environmental factors, and these form the memories, that is procedural memory as well as the deductive memories, and these later form to the pattern matching, that is that happens within an individual. So, if an individual can identify some modules through his memory, then these later form to a pattern matching, and this leads to the production of the execution of the memory. So, this will happen within the individual. So, he was trying to explain the health communication process or the level of understanding of an individual through the three steps as a buffer zone, pattern matching as well as the modules. So, these modules may be explained as the motor module that on the visual module, that is what we are understanding as well as what we are seeing, that is different sense organs work out together to explain the buffers, and this will later form to our memory as predictable memory and as a deductive memory, and later it is explained as a pattern matching, that is we identify and this production execution of an individual's knowledge in health communication. The third model that we have been explaining is trans-theoretical model, or it is also known as change model or cyclic model, and is developed by Prochaska and Declame in 1983. It suggests that people change their behavior at certain stages in life rather than making one significant change. That is, we have already explained that health communication is a process that an individual attained from a from a birth to life. So, there is a certain stages in life, so there is a change in behavioral changes occur in an individual from birth to life. So, during these incremental stages they consider whether or not to make changes to their behavior. So, it is explained as a cyclic model because different stages are happening or different stages of changes are happening in an individual. It is based on a premise that people at different levels of readiness changes, and during the change process they move through a series of changes. So, it is not attained by a single factor through different factors through a different stages of life. So, trans-theoretical model or stages of change model, that is it has been stages of behavioral changes, that is due to many factors the changes have been taking place in an individual. So, it is trying to explain through different factors, that is people move from different stages, that is pre-contemplation stage, that is here the people are not ready to change at all, but then later that is they are thinking of change to contemplation. So, in the first stage no individuals are ready to change, but then coming to contemplation they are ready to change, that is to take something change from the different aspect of their life or the social factors, and later to the preparation stage, that is they are getting ready to change, and it is this stage they decide what to change and how to change, and next it is to preparation, that is getting ready to change, and to finally to replace, that is they are ready to change, and here it goes to the action, that is how to change or what to change. A person at any stages of this may move from one stages to another and to find application in acquiring health information also. So, when we are going through the some of these theories, So, we will trans-theoretical model try to explain that it is a cyclic change or a stages of changes or a model that is starting from different aspect of life. So, one person can decide whether he can change or not, or when to change or how to change. So, these all depends upon the individual behaviors, but these behaviors have been influenced by many factors as the demographic or social factors. So, we have been discussing about the health belief model, ICT's Anderson's theory as well as trans-theoretical model. So, all these theory have been trying to explain the skills of an individual in acquiring health information. So, it all depends upon the nature of source of health information we are depending upon, as well as because the HBM, it is more descriptive in nature, that is than explanatory. So, because the HBM depends completely upon the behavioral patterns, and it does not suggest a strategy for changing health related actions, or even though cue to action are there, it is completely depending upon the behavior of an individual. Whereas in ACT theory, it is trying to explain the understanding level, that is the cognitive level of an individual is forming the health behavior. Whereas in trans-theoretical model, it is explaining the change in behavior in stages of life, that is different factors or due to different factors in different stages of life, there occurs a changes in behavior. So, we cannot explain that these theories are the ultimate, since there are different theories and different researches have been going on in health communication. We know that technological interventions are going on from the different media and different perspective. So, different theories are already explained as theory of planned behavior, recent action, social action theories, etc. But the theories we have already explained here can be linked to the health information, that is the ICT technology, because we are completely we can explain it as a source of information of the ICT. It is the barriers to the health information. We have been trying to identify the source of health information, how the health information has been taking place, how an individual attain health information. But in all these sectors, we identified that it is all a limit to the barriers. So, these barriers cannot be explained as a single concept. There are different concepts or different sectors the barriers occur. It may be in accessing information, it may be in communicative factors, it may be the information seeking problems as skills and the skills of an individual, or it may be the global issues, that is marginalized and vulnerable sections faced, or it may be the problems faced by the migration and immigrations. So, it all depends upon the individual sections. So, along all these things, there are different social cultural aspect of the barriers, that is the superstitious beliefs that exist in the societies. So, access in healthcare is completely depending upon where we are and on which medium we are depending upon and how the information source is available. It may be the communication factors, that is the communication gap existing between the health information providers and the individuals, or it may be the communication gap existing within the caretakers and the individuals, or it may be the credibility of the online media, or it may be the disinformation, or it may be the access or the technological problems. So, all these form the barriers to the health information literacy. So, while considering the barriers, we have to understand or we have to explain the social determinants of health. It is already identified or we have been discussing all these factors, but still the social determinants of health exist in all sectors. It may be the economic stability or the social community context, neighborhood and environment, health care, education. So, social determinants is identified as the barriers of the source of the health information. It may be to the individuals or in the existing society or in the caretakers or in the religion, race, education or what all factors need. So, coming to the barriers, we have to discuss the India's health sector. It has been undergoing the progressive changes, that is from the rural to urban settings, from the cost and complexity and the technological growth that has been undergoing and training of health professionals. But even though these all sectors has been undergoing the changes or the progressive changes, but there are factors, that is we have seen a great increase in the expenditure on health and well-being of the India's health sector from the last 3 years. That is provided by the Department of Health and Family Welfare, that is providing the health information and the Department of Sanitation and Welfare, and different sectors of health and the different marginal increase in the health sector. But this marginal increase is mainly focusing upon the technological aspects as well as the providing health care. Still the rural and urban settings are facing the issues, that is not only in access to the health information, but the reach to the health information, the transportation problems, training health professionals. It is already noted that the community health workers, that is the health care providers or health care intermediaries, are provided with the digital as part of Digital India initiative. They have been training and they have been given in laptops and laptops for training, but still the reach to the rural area is still a problem in India. And rural and urban settings, infrastructure development is going on in one sector, but the best medical care is still facing an issue in India. So, in order to India's health sector need to go on through all these stages to attain the best health only. So, we have been discussing upon the health communication process and strategies, the theoretical models which explain health information, what are the barriers to health information, and the need of the technological growth and aspect in different sectors. Thank you.